We've got some news to get to on today's show. I wish it was good news, but before we get to it, I do want to toss this question your direction. Which Cleveland sports team do you think is closest to a championship? The Browns, the Guardians, or the Cavs? I'm partially wanting to say the Guardians because they're playing right now and they're playing great baseball, but my gut tells me I think the Browns are truly the closest of all three teams. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Well, unfortunately, the Browns are on summer break, and that can lead to some mischief. Lonnie Phelps, who was a UDFA last year out of Kansas, has been arrested after an alleged DUI offense in Key West, Florida, where he crashed his car into a restaurant. Now, thankfully, no one was injured. No one was inside the restaurant. It was closed at the time. The Browns have issued a statement saying they have no comment at this time, and they are still gathering facts, yada, 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 but not ideal, right? We have unfortunately seen a couple of Browns players get in trouble with the law. I'll just keep it short and sweet and say, Lonnie Phelps, pack your bags. You're probably done with the Cleveland Browns. Maybe they discover he is innocent after all, but surface level, I don't want to rush to judgment too much, but it's not looking good for Lonnie, especially when you are a UDFA. Teams are already looking for excuses to cut guys. They got to get down to 53. And if you're going to put yourself in a bad position and in a bad light and make a mistake for your character's sake, it's probably not going to end very well for you. So I'm just going to say this, hopefully for the last time. Can Browns defensive linemen just stay out of trouble? Last summer, it was Perion Winfrey getting in trouble with the law. This time, it's Lonnie Phelps on the defensive line. Can everyone just take 6 weeks and not screw up? Just sit at home, watch TV, I don't know, work out. Just don't drive cars into restaurants. I don't think that's a big ask, but here we are. So before we look at the next portion of today's video, which I'm excited to talk about because it's all about an ESPN suggestion for Cleveland. If news breaks, you know where to go. Right here at the Cleveland Browns Report. Hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 35,000 subscribers before training camp breaks ground. I need your help to do so. So make sure you go ahead and join the #1 Cleveland Browns YouTube channel out there. Now, next up on today's show, we're going to talk about Jed Wills because the ESPN article that I'm referring to gave one move for all 32 teams to make before training camp. And for the Browns, it was extending Jed Wills, which I thought the first word would be extend. I just thought the last two words would be Amari Cooper. Instead, they went with the Browns left tackle. Here's what Aaron Schatz from ESPN wrote. Wills' contract was restructured this offseason to give the Browns some cap room, and now it has a bunch of void years tossed onto the end of it. But effectively, the Browns will lose their left tackle after 2024 without giving him a new deal. Yes, Wills is coming off a torn MCL, but he has been one of the top young tackles in the league. Last season, he ranked 8th among tackles in pass block win rate, 92.4%. I've got a lot to share on this because my initial reaction was this is a dumb idea, right? We have not seen enough good play and consistent play from Jed Wills to think that is someone worthy of a contract extension. But the more I thought about it, the more I started to realize that while the fan base may not think this is a great idea, actions speak louder than words. And the organization, they put some things into motion. Remember, they restructured Jed Wills' contract. And when they did that, they added 4 void years to it, 2025 through 2028. Now, void years, for those of you that don't know, they're like fake years tacked onto a contract. The player is not under contract for all 5 seasons here. He's under contract for 2024, but there are cap hits from 2025 to 2028. So it allows a team to spread a cap hit over a long period of time without the player being under contract for those years. Does that make some sense? So from 2025 through 2028, Jed Wills will account for $20 million in cap hits despite not being on the team, right? That's a dead cap hit when a certain portion of your cap space is devoted to a player not on your team. So the Browns spending $20 million in cap space on a player that's not under contract for these years might look a little strange. But they did that with Jerry Jeudy, and then they shortly followed that up with a contract extension for Jerry Jeudy to fill those void years up. So like it or not, The Browns internally are a lot higher than Jed Wills than the Cleveland Browns fan base is. I understand that the former 10th overall pick has not lived up to expectations, and for the record, I don't really agree with their overall analysis and evaluation on Jed Wills. But the reality is they are devoting $20 million in cap space to him for 4 years he's not on the team, which might sound backwards, but an extension may make some sense for Jed Wills after all. Let me explain. You've got $20 million right now in cap space going to a player not currently under contract for those years. You could extend Jed Wills, fill those void years up with an actual contract, and still have those same cap hits, but actually have a player playing for you. So if you're going to spend $20 million on a guy, when I say spend, when you have $20 million on a cap hit for a player not under contract, why not extend him and actually get a player for those $20 million in cap hits, right? If you're going to spend $20 million on him, why not extend him and put those 4 void years in with a $30 million cap hit? And so now you're only spending additional $10 million in cap space, but you're actually getting a player in the process. I know it's a bit confusing when we start talking about salary caps because it's a myth, it's not real, but I do think that there is some logic to, if you've already devoted $20 million for the next 4 years to a guy that's not currently under contract, might as well extend him and get some play from him because you're going to have cap hits from him anyway. Now, the question is, does Jed Wills deserve an extension from what we have seen from him so far? Last year, he got off to a horrific start. We all remember this going into the NFL trade deadline, talking about maybe the Browns should trade for a left tackle. It's not working. He came out of the bye week. Jed Wills played some solid football, then unfortunately suffers an injury against the Cardinals at home, and we lose him for the rest of the season. Through 4 years so far in the NFL, Jed Wills has not been unplayable. He's not someone that's quickly going to be out of the league, but he's not shaping up to be a franchise left tackle. I just don't think there's any way you can argue that, right? If you just go by PFF's metrics of his ranking amongst all other left tackles, the best season of his NFL career, you could say, was 2021, when he ranked 52nd out of 83 left tackles. That's not the only way to evaluate players, but it's a good starting point. So we're looking at a fringe, maybe top half player on a good day, and that's rounding up here. So I don't think we have seen enough from Jed Wills to believe he should get a contract extension, but the void years signal otherwise, right? The void years tell me the Browns think there is a future with Jed Wills here, and we're going to fill those void years with an actual contract for him. So with all that being said, I'll turn it over to you. Would you extend Jedrick Wills? Give me a yes or give me a no down in the comment section. I want to hear what you have to say about this subject. Now, before we get to the rest of today's show, there is an awesome deal ongoing at Fanatics. If you want to get this Browns t-shirt combo, go to chatsports.com/CLE combo. You're not just going to get one t-shirt, you're going to get 2 t-shirts, 40% off. Just can't beat those kind of deals. So right now, re-up your Browns wardrobe, get some new t-shirts, chatsports.com/CLE combo. Now, just as a reference point, this is what the top 10 offensive tackles are making in football on an average annual basis. So, Laramie Tunsil leading the way, $25 million a season. In no way is Jed Wills going to land an extension anywhere near Laramie Tunsil, or for that matter, anywhere near probably Garrett Bowles at number 10, unless he has a breakout monster season, which it is a contract year, and that tends to be what happens for guys as they go into free agency. If I were the Browns and they were really looking to extend Jed Wills, I think this would be a doable offer. 4 years, $40 million. That's an average of $10 million a season. Guaranteed $30 million, so it's basically a 3-year, $30 million extension. Jed Wills could pass on this and hope he plays a great season and gets a big amount of cash in free agency. But he's also coming off a torn MCL, so from his perspective, it may not be a bad idea to take $30 million guaranteed and run with it. Could he get more next March? Yeah, sure he could. Left tackles are very valuable cornerstone pieces. But he also could have another down season and get a 1-year, $5 million contract from a team and nowhere near $30 million in guaranteed. So for Jed Wills, it can make a lot of sense. And for the Browns, you're already on the hook for $20 million in void years the next 4 seasons. Why not fill those void years with an actual player and only tack on a few extra cap hit dollars because of a $30 million guaranteed contract? If I had to take a swing at what the Browns' 2025 offensive line would look like next season, Jed Wills at left tackle, Wyatt Teller at left guard, Ethan Posick at center. I don't like this, but I currently have Zach Zinter at right guard. Joel Petonio just did not give me an inspiring message this offseason about his future in the NFL and whether or not he will continue to play beyond 2024. And he dealt with some injuries last year. So for now, I will tentatively and cautiously pencil in Zach Zinter at right guard, and then I'll put DeJuan Jones at right tackle. I think Jack Conklin's going to be here longer than people realize, but if the Browns want to save some money, which there actually really isn't a whole lot of savings to be had, he'll still have a decent dead cap hit if you move on from him after this season. They could get DeJuan Jones in at right tackle and maybe trade Jack Conklin away. Before we pick a card, I want to give some shout-outs to some new subscribers here. Robust Plays, Joshua Miller, you are not a new subscriber. Robert Jones, Playmaker, Thomas Demos, James Harper, Cleveland Prods, Time Man the Buckeye is definitely not a new subscriber, and Zach Miller. Shout out to everyone who joined the channel. If you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and do so. We give shout-outs all the time here on the channel, so get a shout-out on a future episode when you subscribe. All right, before we sign off, I do want to bring on producer Joey Peterson to pick a card. Joey, which card do you want to go with today?
Queen of Diamonds.
Queen of Diamonds. Okay. I'm going to go with the Six of Hearts. Six of Hearts. Six of Spades.
Wow.
That's a tough one. I got it the other day, though, so can't be too upset. Six of Spades. All right, that will do it for us on today's show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to sign off, and we'll see everyone later.